So, welcome viewers to the Gradvine channel as well. I know we did videos of this sort in the past where we talked to students and now professionals in the US who pursued master's degrees from the very best universities there and are pursuing successful careers at this point. And today we have the big question of the masters in computer science, which a vast majority of students do tend to apply to, and with good reason. So, we have Shyam here today, who is also a mentor at Gradvine currently. So you might want to, hit him up on LinkedIn perhaps after this for sure. Um, and he did his master's in computer science from Columbia and is working currently at Microsoft. And that's all the context I'm going to give you because we're going to delve into his profile with his introduction. Sham, thank you so much for joining us and doing this video. Going to be super beneficial for a lot of candidates. And of course, they are going to know what you've been up to and where you've studied based on the title of this video. But I'd love for you to introduce yourself for our audience.
Yeah, hi Shrika. Hi everyone. My name is Shyam Pandya, and I'm currently working as a software engineer in the gaming ML team, part of the core operating system group in Microsoft. And I work on foundational machine learning technologies that can be implemented in the field of graphics and especially to the gaming sector of the company that involves desktop PC gaming, Xbox. So we contribute to the operating system and we try to enhance the user experience, the gameplay quality, and even performance using machine learning. And my background is that I did my undergrad in computer science from Punjab Engineering College in Chandigarh. And I've always been passionate about software engineering, about computer science, problem solving. And I did start a bit early on learning about machine learning, different tracks, including computer vision, natural language processing. But I ended up working as a full-time software engineer in Cvent right after my undergrad, just how everyone gets placed and does not have a very big say in it. But as soon as I started working, I knew I wanted to get out the next year. But I tried to I actually learned a lot during my time there, the fundamentals of how code is written, how products are built, and using all of that, I built my profile to apply for my master's at Columbia University, where I chose a machine learning specialization track. So I picked courses that aligned with the track defined by the university, and I involved myself in computer vision research, which was part of the DVMM, which is the Digital Video and Multimedia Lab. So there's multimodal computer vision research that I involved myself, and all of these different experiences and backgrounds helped me get where I am today.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Sham. And I'm going to
Yeah.
divide this conversation into two parts, right? One was, of course, the pathway of getting into a great university, and of course,
Yeah.
navigating your career and job search after that. So we'll stick to the first part. And Columbia, a dream school on anybody's list, pretty much, right? No matter the program, it is one of those schools that people think of right from when they're teenagers,
Yeah.
and of course, I'm sure you had a more focused view on why you'd wish to attend it. But you're from Punjab Engineering College, and there is a
Yeah.
perception among students that okay, within Indian institutions, there's a tier one and a tier two and a tier three, and
Right.
of course, the IITs and the BITS, guys assume that only they can get into the Ivy Leagues. And Columbia is a top 10 computer science program, and
Right.
anything affiliated easy. Um,
Yeah.
how did you believe that you could crack these admits? Was it your body of work or something else, or were you still very unsure when you applied?
I was in the same category of people, and I had people around me who also uh, enforce this ideology more and more. I participated with some consulting firms as well, and they all evaluated my profile to not be the greatest. So it was always an ambitious university for me, but I believe that the profile that I was putting forward was a complete uh, well suit. I wouldn't say I knew I was gonna get into Columbia, but I knew that I had done the best I could given the cards I was dealt with, and that's what mattered to me. So at a given point when I'm done with my studies, when I'm done with all the projects or work that I've done, all I could do was prove myself and my ambition and my passion towards a field through my LORs and SOPs, get the best recommendations out there. And that's what I focused on. So I tried to pull up my grades as much as possible in undergrad, but there's only so much you can do about it. I made an extra effort to find internships, work on research, reach out to professors, and because opportunities do not present themselves when you're not in a tier one university. So I feel that's the only difference. When you're in a tier one university, even if you don't do anything, you may just stumble upon people, opportunities, and different avenues to build and grow yourself. When you're in a tier two, you have to make an extra effort, you have to focus yourself, and you have to have a dedicated goal to work towards. And once you start manifesting that and putting in that hard work, it is very likely that you'll at least get 80 to 90% of that goal. And that's a pretty great deal to achieve it. So aim very, very high, work towards it, manifest it, and yeah, I think you'll the universe will reward you back. Feel that that's a basic philosophy I believe in.
All right. And thank you so much for that. I resonate to a great extent in terms of what you said about focused goals and then, of course, the statement of purpose, right? So, was that a narrative that you worked on with a great level of care, saying that I have this specific goal that I want to get into post Columbia in your statement of purpose? And of course, aligning your body of work towards it. How long did that take?
Uh, I almost took like 3 months to write my SOP. I got it reviewed, peer reviewed by my friends, people who've already gone out, some other people who got into universities, some people who were great at English language. So all different kinds of reviews, some creative people, because I had spun up a theme of my statement of purpose to make it a journey so far, and how my journey at Columbia and a greater uh, degree would help align with that journey. And yeah, it took like more than 17, 18 drafts to get there. So I most of my first month, I just curated thoughts. I put jotted down all of my backgrounds, experiences, skill sets, and even personal experiences, things that promote you to become the kind of person you are, or shape the kind of experiences that you're going to have. So I focused on a lot of introspection and a lot of so it wasn't just okay, I want to do a master's, it's got to be in CSE. No, but like, why do I really want to do it? What do I like about it? And very specifically, what will I focus on? And it does not have to be 100% accurate. At that point, what you feel is what you write, and life is very volatile. Things keep changing, right? So I was really passionate about research. I got into Columbia. I did a lot of research, and I realized that I don't think I'm willing to put in 5 more years of a PhD down there. And I pivoted, but that does not mean that you did not have clarity. But at till the end. So at the point you have to fully understand what you want to do, and you have to passionately put that forward. And then you have to be agile and move with how the world is working. Yeah.
And you did mention 3 months for the statement of purpose, right? And that is a significant
Yeah.
amount of time. And of course, SOP is a big part of the process, but it's still just a part, right? So, can
Yeah.
you run me through a little bit of the timeline, like when you started the application process to when you submitted? How close was it to the deadline?
I my first application was early November, so I think 15th November, the early application stages that there were. So I was pretty much done with everything by then. The only delays that I was getting was getting signed LORs from professors. So that's always a struggle once you're outside the university. Uh, so I started. It was around August that I started. So I gave my GRE in August, and around that time I had started brainstorming and collecting ideas and putting things together. Yeah, I started giving out LORs by September. I fully gotten into writing the LOR, the statement of purpose, around September-ish, and then I took a whole month of October for reviews and drafts and updates. So I would say a good three months for SOP can include everything else itself. So like whenever I'm traveling, whenever I was commuting, whenever I was sitting idly, I used to think about my SOP. So I used to just put in time in my day-to-day life in different places and just make the most out of it.
All right, fantastic. And I will go to your time at university, but were you considering other places as well? Or did you have multiple admits, or was Columbia your slam dunk and you're sure about going?
Yeah, so I got my Columbia admit like in May. So I
Hmm.
had two or three admits before that, and I almost finalized Arizona State University before that because that was my first and best admit till that point. And Columbia was my only ambitious admit, to be honest. So once Columbia came in, I was almost certain, apart from the monetary aspect of things, I was almost certain that yeah, nothing's gonna beat this experience. So I did not have a lot of competition to choose from, although the other universities had its own set of uh, like pros compared to Columbia. But overall, I was thinking in the long run, I would want the reputation and the network of what an Ivy League offers, and that is why I was willing to take my chance with Colombia at that point. And yeah, I think that was a great decision.
Fantastic. Uh, I'd like to pick your brains a little bit about the class itself at Columbia. So, what is the class profile like? Were there a lot of freshers, people with a lot of work experience, other nationalities? How was the mix, and what is the class size typically?
Uh, I would say I remember 200 to 300 people joining in the cohort. If
Okay.
I'm not fully sure,
Hmm.
but it was pretty diverse, and you see a lot of people with I've heard of people with 3 to 5 years of experience come in as well, and then I knew people who had come straight out of college, and there was diversity, people coming in from different nationalities, but a lot of the majority is Indians and Chinese, as is most of the MSCS programs.
Hmm.
And in terms of universities as well, so it wasn't just that I was the only lucky one from a tier two college to come in, right? There were people with a lot of varied background. So even people from the world of finance, people from entrepreneurial background. So they try to have a very good balance and inclusive cohort when it comes to that. So I know people from IITs, and I know people who are not from tier two, who are from local colleges, and I know people who are from great MNCs, and I know people who are from startups, and so it's very well balanced, I would say.
It's all about how you align your story to your goals, right? And that's what a lot of these top
Yeah,
tier universities are open to. I think you have to stay true to your story. And thanks so much for
yeah,
reiterating that. Shyam, I want to go now through your time, during the program, right? How was the style of teaching, the exposure, your time on campus? What were some things that you enjoyed and some things that really stood out for you?
yeah. I think the style of teaching is like spot on. Like that is one thing that definitely stands out. The professor, and I can only say this with comparison with my previous experience, right, at my undergrad, and it will differ for everyone. But the professors at Columbia are just, or any big top tier university in US, they're built different. They're really passionate about what they're teaching. They they're up to date with what is going on in the world, and they're very likely actively researching or have done a lot of substantial research in their own field. And that's why when you're building fundamentals, that really happens well. Like I personally feel like my fundamentals of algorithms and data structures was built at Columbia rather than my 5 years of previous computer science experience, because I just delved into the the I worked with people who wrote books and were teaching using their own books. So the professors over there, they they really get into the crux of things and they focus on that. They don't digress too much, and that makes you understand things and practically apply them as well. So the problem state, most of the courses don't have final exams. It's mostly your assignments and projects and some quizzes here and there. And those assignments take you a lot of time. And yeah, even though you can take help from the internet, you're not going to be able to solve it right uh, by finding an answer somewhere. You're going to get motivation and information from the internet to understand something, and then you will have to sit and solve it. So, more than the number of hours you spend in class, you spend time on your assignments and working with peer groups. Uh, so that is a great experience when it comes to courses. The variety of courses is pretty good. For a master's program, it's a bit limited, given that you just have to do 10 courses and then there's some fundamental base courses you need to take, and there's limitations on who offers what course and all. But if you plan things correctly as much as you can, you learn about what kind of professors are offering what courses. Uh, there's the incremental learning curve to your program, and there's one course after the other you can take, which can help you build more and more in-depth knowledge about that. And yeah, and another interesting thing is that, and this is common in, I think, IITs, but I hadn't seen that, is that courses can be taken by anyone. So my course had people from bachelor's, from master's, from PhD. So it's not, so the cohort that you start with is not the cohort you end with. Anyone can graduate at any time. You can take any courses. You may or may not see each other ever again in your program, and you make friends, you learn from other people, you make connections with other PhD students, bachelor students, and yeah, that's a really wonderful experience to have.
And that almost seamlessly blends into my next question, right? Because I interact with students on an everyday basis with queries, right? How much am I going to get paid, and what are the starting salaries, and what are the placement rates? And
Yeah,
increasingly so in recent years, it has become very transactional, right? The decision to do a
yeah,
master's degree. I've invested so much, so how much am I going to earn for how long?
right,
For the next 3 4 years, and which is fair. It's big money that all students are putting on
right.
their master's degree, and I'll get to that part, subsequently. But at the risk of perhaps putting words in your mouth, and you can shoot me down if you wish, do you believe that you become a better rounded professional or computer scientist that can succeed in a variety of scenarios through that education at this fantastic university, or do you believe it's still work in progress and other things that have to work out?
I think it's all about your mentality. So I've seen a lot of people who complain about programs and complain about masters and talk about this transactional details, right? But it's all about how much can you take out of it. The university has a million things to offer, and if you just sit in your class if sit in your room, attend classes, do your assignments, be disappointed by not getting some class, or not being rigorous enough, or not getting a chance to do this or that. You That negative mentality is going to make you upset about everything moving on. Even at work, you're going to go ahead into that. And I've seen that happening to people. So people who take this journey with a positive mindset, like I said, you have to have a tier two university mentality when you go to anywhere. You have to be hungry to look for opportunities and go ahead and grab them. So any kind of networking event that happens, any specific opportunity to interact with professors, to work with someone. Uh, if you participate in all of that, it adds up. It builds this overall profile. Uh, it builds a personality. It makes you more confident. It makes your problem solving skills better. When you so I, because I would give an example. Most of the people around me were Indians, right? So if you always team up with Indians in projects and different assignments, then I'm replicating what I have done in my undergrad. So in one of the courses, I made an extra effort to actually participate with someone who's not an Indian. And it's not, I mean, it may sound shallow, but it was a task I put up on myself because I wanted to learn how to be multicultural and inclusive and understand other people's mindsets towards a particular project and course. And that really helped me communicate with people better, understand and work, and made my communication better as well, right? Like I wasn't communicating in a comfortable manner in my own language with someone. And all of those little things help you in the corporate world, because you're going to work with a different set of people. So the university subtly offers you so many avenues to grow. You can take up leadership positions, you can participate in nonprofit organizations, you can participate in career fairs. There are so many clubs that are cultural and technical, and you can do tons of things, and you just need to identify, analyze, and then grab that opportunity. And yeah, it absolutely helps shape you as a better individual moving forward in your career.
Yeah, and it's a once in a lifetime experience that's going to stay with you for the rest of your life. And like you said, I just wish more folks understood that and appreciated that. Um,
Yeah.
but again, like we are forced to move into the transactional aspect of it, I will be forced to move into the job search, right?
Yeah.
Because even we want our views at the end of the day, even though
Yeah.
we would like to educate the audience to a great extent. So, how was that
Yeah.
journey like? Did you intern somewhere in the summer, and what process did you follow, and how did that blend into your full
Yeah.
time experience?
Sure. Yeah. It was a tricky journey. I'll not get into the details of my profile because I was like a COVID student, right? So my journey is completely complicated, and people who are interested can reach out personally. But the standard process is, after your first year of master's, you apply for an internship. And that's what I did. I applied to a lot of places for an internship. And I also applied for full time at the same time. So Columbia is a 1.5 year course. I had the option to finish it in a year. So I could either graduate and start a full time, or I could take an internship and come back after the internship, do a semester, and then graduate, right? So 2 or 3 semesters. Uh, I got a full time offer at Amazon in November of 2021. And meanwhile, I was still trying to get interviews for internships, and that was very hard. It was very easy to get interviews for full time and very hard to get interviews for internships. And that is in 2021. Uh, but once you get an interview with the internship, converting that to an offer is slightly easier. The interviews are slightly easy, and the expectations are slightly easy. So I got an internship offer from Microsoft in around Jan of 2022. So I decided to intern with Microsoft instead of graduating and working at Amazon. And once I got to Microsoft, I had a return offer from Microsoft. And that around that time was when the tech hiring freeze took place. So 2022 summer was where all of tech shut down, Meta laid off, Google laid off. And at that point, I tried to apply to just a few because I wanted to go above Microsoft, and there's only a few companies that would have offered that, and they stopped hiring. So my only option was to return to Microsoft, but I returned to a team that aligned much better with my skill sets and my interests. And so I interned in a different team. I'm working in a different team for full time.
Fantastic, fantastic. And whenever I do, roundtables and panels and discussions with students, right? The common theme, and fair enough, it has always been, is that the job search is challenging. It's tough. It takes a lot of effort.
Yeah,
It takes a lot of discipline, and you have to be consistent. And this is something that puts increasingly so aspirants looking to apply right now off, right? Like, oh, it's tough, it's tough, it's
right.
tough. The last year has been tougher, right? As
Yeah,
you're immersed in tech. You probably
yeah,
are seeing recruiting trends
yeah,
from the inside. It has been challenging.
yeah.
What message do you have for people aspiring to start this master's journey about the job search in the US job market and how they should go about it?
Yeah, so I believe that yeah, job search and tech market is bad everywhere, and this applies to India as well. So even if you get placements, that does not mean that your job is secure. Moving around is going to be easy. Once you enter the market is difficult, unless you stand out and you make those extra efforts to stay up to date, to try to look for opportunities that align with you. You will be stagnant everywhere. Moving to US is a bit challenging because you let go of all of your security rails and then you start from scratch. You don't have a lot of support. So I agree that if you are an individual that is just looking to move to US to get a job, then I think it is not the best thing to do a master's. That was never the purpose of that program in the first place. So that used to be the case before, where it's an easy entryway. Because and I will digress a bit from the job market and tell you the reality of things, which is that even if you get a job, it's not easy. Like even staying at Microsoft, you have to worry about being laid off at any point of time, and it's one of the biggest tech companies. And when you are at a volatile visa like an F1 or an H1B, this is going to happen for the rest of your life. So if you're always worried about your job and continuous stability, and you do not care about the program and the experience or the fact that you want to move to US for that experience, then taking on this challenge wouldn't be the best thing. You should ideally stay in India, stay in a safe environment, try to grow there. I would recommend people who are curious and interested and really want to experience the master's program, learn from it, maybe are confused about a higher education in PhD or a job. Those kinds of people are the best who who are actually passionate about what they want to do. And as an outcome, they put in their efforts to get a job and try to move into that domain to put their experiences to test. And those kind of people succeed the most. Uh, and and I know it's going to be tough once you get into your masters, but it's not impossible. So that is the thing. You have to adapt based on the industry. You have to change your ways of job hunting. So before, people used to come hunt for you to give you jobs. And now the market has changed, the roles have reversed. So you build up your profile, you make outreaches and connections in ways where you can have multiple avenues of getting that job, of getting seen and heard in the job market. And if you do it right, if you do it enough number of times, you are going to make it. It's just that you have to accept that just because you're going out for a master's does not mean you will end up with a fang job with like 5 crore packages and all of that, right? So that mentality has to change. The reason why you move to do a master's or to get a job has to change. And then that kind of acceptance helps grow very easily. When you're not worried about those small things, then you focus on the important things. And like as Rancho said in Three Idiots, right? Like success will follow you eventually. So if you are of that mentality, then yes, a higher education program is a good fit for you.
Absolutely, right? Become a better engineer, upskill. Maybe you're passionate about shifting domains a little bit. Those should be the objectives, not, all right, I'm just doing this as an entryway into the US. Those days are gone. I think pretty much do it at a good university with the right ambition, and like you said, the results will follow. Um,
Yeah,
Once again, after having discussions about such an enriching topic, it's just embarrassing that I keep going back to the transactional aspect of it, right? But I do want to touch upon a
yeah,
fact, because I don't want to dismiss this factor for a vast majority of listeners, right? Colombia is expensive, right?
yeah,
As are
absolutely.
as are a lot of the Ivy Leagues.
Yeah,
How were you evaluating the cost versus, versus, I don't know if you've taken an education loan or whether you're going to pay it out of pocket, or there is a certain
yeah,
element of return that you would get
yeah.
from the degree, right? So did, again, we don't have to go into specific numbers, but on a broad sense, is that working out for you in terms of a decision in monetary terms?
For me, yeah, I've made a profit out of it. So I honestly have forgotten how much I paid for it at this point. And I believe that if you and I understand that money is not easy for everyone, and you should be very, very careful about it. So I would not propagate that, forget about how costly it is, it's going to be worth it. No, sometimes Colombia is not worth it, right? But if if everything goes well, let's say, so my program, I would say, cost $150,000, for example, right? And if everything goes well, you're working jobs, you're working during your program, so your living expenses are paid off right there. You go to an internship, you don't recklessly spend all of your money, you save 20, $30,000 around over there throughout your time. You bring down your principal amount cost, right? And if you get into any decent university, sorry, any decent company, anything above 100,000 package, right? Uh, Even if you keep saving 20 to $30,000 every year, and let's say you're kicked out after 5 years, or after 3 years of your OPT, you're still going to be at a no profit, no loss. And you will go back with a very enriching experience, with a very sophisticated profile, and people are going to come ahead and definitely offer you interviews to get into tech in India as well. So that's the kind of outlook I have, that what is the worst that could happen? Think about the worst case scenario, and then you hedge the costs accordingly. So how much of a dent I'm willing to make in my pocket, given that I have to come back after 3 years? And on the best case scenario, you're just gonna make profits, right? There's no limit to how much you can earn in tech. Uh, so you have to figure out your risk and monetary appetite at that point, and the capacity of how much you're willing to pay. So if you're, like I said, if your entire goal is to make money, to grow in your career, and and so that aspect of it also caters, right? Because you're losing 3 years or 2 years of monetary income and growth in India. So if you're already at a good place in India, you're earning money, there's prospects of growth, and then you move to masters just to get a new job, I don't think that's a great way to do things. You do masters either if you want to upgrade from your current status quo, if you want to change domains, if you just want higher education, right? If you just want more money, then it's never worth it to spend so much money not earned during that time and then have to end up going back, right? So these factors have to be put in your linear equation, and then you see where you come out to be.
Thank you so much for bringing that very, very grounded perspective, Sham. And I think that's all the questions that I had for you today. And thank you so much for all those insightful answers. But I'm just going to end this. You're a mentor now with us, and I'm
Yeah,
sure there's going to be a lot of students who are going to be fortunate enough to get this very practical, on point, grounded guidance, because that's the game changer at the end of the day, right? We don't write about unicorns
yeah,
and rainbows. You write about a
yeah,
very, very grounded ambition, if that could be an acceptable term. But what advice
yeah.
do you have for people who are just starting to embark on this journey of the entire master's process at this point?
Yeah, so I always say this to people is really try to understand yourself. Staying in an Indian society, it's very hard. You have so many factors influencing you. It may be external or it could be your family, but really try to figure out what you want. And it happens very late for us because we're just dumped into engineering after 12th when you're doing science, and then you start figuring yourself out versus people over here, they already know what they want through high school. So I feel like you should embark upon that journey in as soon as possible. And when you do that, you try to focus on two and two of the major aspects, which is short-term goals and long-term goals. And long-term goals are not just academic or career oriented, but even in terms of life, I even tell people think about where you want to spend your life as much as you can fathom at this point, and try to bring in these different various aspects of your life. And if you are certain about what you want to do, let's say you want to do a master's degree for a particular reason, then do not restrict yourself at all or bind yourself within these shackles of tier two universities or tier one universities, and that goes the other way around as well. Like even if you get a master's admit from an average university which you think is going to be good enough, you can always make the best out of what you have. The cards that you're dealt with, you have no control over that, but everything else you can take control over it. Make an extra effort to try. Do not compare yourself with other people. Try to take motivation from other people. Try to learn what they did. Try to implement those things for yourself, but add your own spin to it as much as you can. And uh, if you put in your mindset and efforts together, uh, you should be able to achieve whatever you want. And even if you're not, you will be happy with yourself because you put all of your efforts into it, right? So that positive outlook is very important.
Absolutely right. And this is, I think, a very subtle message to people who are, asking, should I get Chat GPT to write my SOP? Should I get somebody to ghost write it for me? I think you're setting yourself up for failure right out of
Yeah,
the gate. There is no coming back from that. So, a deeper thought,
yeah,
but you will realize it, I think, 3, 4 years down the line, once you are done
yeah.
with your journey.
Yeah, it's like there's only so much an artificial push can send you. If you do not have powerful engines within yourself, then you're just gonna crash eventually, right? So
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you so much for almost reiterating that. We try saying that to the many people who reach out to us for advice. But
yeah,
Sham, thank you so much. This is a Sunday morning. I know you could be doing anything, but
yeah.
you chose to, come back and give back to listeners who I, have no doubt will benefit from this. So thank you so, so much for doing this.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure. And yeah, I wish all the best to everyone taking up a new journey. I know times are challenging, but I think every generation feels that, and every generation thinks that we have lived through the worst. But you overcome all of these difficult things, and I guess that's part of life.
Yep, and you have to take a leap with conviction, I guess. So,
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much, and you have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Bye bye.
If you watched this video until this point, I'm sure you liked it. Why don't you subscribe?